we bought something that was very affordable, that if it didn't rent, we could float the note and we could still sleep at night.
And still use it in vacation.
And still use it in vacation. We got a very good realtor. He knew a lot about management. He knew a lot about HOAs. He knew a lot about the construction of some of these buildings. Because personally, like, we have a lot of stuff on the Gulf. Hurricanes are scary. We only bought in concrete buildings.
Wait, you're going too fast.
Okay.
Let me write all this down.
Well,
because this is real important. You need to understand, like, if you're going to buy small, like a condo or something, you need to understand what's the everybody know what HOA is? It's a bunch of low-life communists. So you better, these people will fuck your world up.
It could be the demise of one building. Like, and you know, these people, they switch roles often. So whereas like Phoenix 5 was awesome for years, and then now I wanted to buy another one, and my realtor's like, it's not looking good for the HOA right now. So, you know, those things could change, so you need to.
Who doesn't know what HOA is? Raise your hand. Okay. Well, HOA
it's
is
a homeowner association. So basically they manage the building and they create rules and cost of how much you pay per month or quarter to run the building. And you have to really make sure that the building you're interested in is pro rentals, because there's a lot of retirees that move into buildings. And if there's too many retirees within one building, they'll shut down the rentals and they won't be pro rentals. And those people could really mess up the flow of Airbnbs.
And you said concrete? You want to make sure
concrete buildings, you know, I mean, with us being on the Gulf, like we saw pictures of a hurricane. My agent had pictures of the hurricane, and he actually works for Brett Robinson in Orange Beach. They own tons of the Phoenix buildings, so all of their buildings are solid concrete. Said, this is why you should be in our building, and this is why you don't want to be in, like the whole wall had slid down, open. Like it was all open from the hurricanes, whereas the concrete buildings, they still got messed up, but not as bad. And it lowers your insurance rates too.
Okay, now let's talk about how to find a deal.
Well, for us personally, we like to know the area. When we first started, it was an area we were super familiar with, we really loved. So we weren't going in completely green on the area. So we had traveled there for years. And we knew that it was a family-oriented, the city was pretty solid, like the roads were good, like everything was just, it was a good area for years before that. But we bought a fixer-upper because we really wanted to keep our costs down, and we just redid the whole thing. But what sold us on that building was, it was first floor, in a complex, so we didn't have to take elevators. We could go straight from the garage into our unit. Yes, and we had a yard, and then the pool was next to us with a splash pad gated. It was the only splash pad in any building in that area.
Which makes it what?
Super unique.
Y'all have to remember that word when this is the fundamentals of short-term vacation rentals. Ingrain in your mind, unique.
Yep.
You have to find a property that is unique.
Because you have to stand out amongst, you know, thousands of rentals. You know, there's tons of 1 and 2 bedroom units, but do they have a splash pad? Can your kids play in a yard? A splash pad is like an area where kids play, where the water comes out of the ground. There slides. It's like, you know, it's just a really awesome amenity that is rare in that area. So it brings in a lot of families, and man, that place crushed it.
Yep.
7 years we had it. It crushed it. I could have rented 3 of those units for the amount of people I had. And I managed it myself. I didn't have to pay for any advertising. It was just social media. And so I ran that place for 7 years, and then we had somebody knocking down our door to buy it. And that's my biggest regret, selling that place. I still regret it.
Yeah, and we won't sell any other, or that's the only waterfront property we ever sold, and we regret it. So it's got to be super unique. You know, you need to really define in your mind what unique means. And that means like what it stands out. Like if you go look at this property amongst all the other properties, this is unique. Why? Give me an example. Creeks. Yeah. That's unique. What else? The pool. Mm-hmm. What else?
All the bedrooms have their own bathroom. So that's another unique factor.
It's on a what? A cliff. We're up high. We're on a cliff looking down. Like these nuances are super, super important because when people are shopping on Airbnb and VRBO to vacation, they're looking for all these, it could be a pool, high ceilings. It could be a pool table, a game room.
The trails help too because
outdoors.
most of these houses don't have trails on them either. So, and we looked for 2 years and everything was just like, they all look the same.
They all look the same.
And we're like, none of these really stand out to us that we're like dropping everything to rent over there. But when that guy called us and said, we have a house that sits on 2 creeks, and actually it ended up being 3 creeks.
Yeah.
We dropped everything to rent over because that was like, okay, this is the golden goose.
That's
like
water.
We found it.
Yeah, that's waterfront property over here.
Yeah.
And the key is you want to stay waterfront. You want to stay waterfront. You want to make sure that it's, you don't want to be, 2 or 3 roads back on the beach, you don't have a water view. Because you're going to fight against, it's better to spend a little bit more money and be first floor. And so we just bought one in Destin, a little condo first floor, right? Who saw that? You saw what we did to it? We took it and we
gutted it and started over.
And look, we got a good deal on MLS. We paid $575.
Well, we had been stalking. There was only one one sale a year in the whole building, and so I had been on an email list with that realtor for probably 4 years, just getting prices on. I had like 4 buildings I liked. And we just so happened to be driving to Destin, and I got a ping that it just listed. And I called her right away. I'm like, we're going as soon as we get into town, make an appointment.
The same day. Speed is key. Like when it hits the market.
There was 3 offers already. And man, it was like all the stars aligned. The realtor who listed that property had also listed our Destin house across the street. And she told the sellers, I've already closed the deal with these people. I know they're the real deal. And we offered cash. We gave
full price.
Full price offer cash.
Because they already had 2 offers behind us. You're not going to steal properties like that. You understand? It's okay to pay full retail on properties that are in a trending area like Destin, Florida.
And it was an add-on property.
Yeah, it was a value add.
Value add because it didn't need work. We weren't scared of doing the work. Actually, we like to do the work. So we knew that we could push the appreciation on it.
And you probably asked, well, how do you underwrite these things? You're going to underwrite. I'm kind of kicking myself in the butt because I just made a reel that said don't buy the 1% rule. Well, this is the only asset class that a 1% rule is a good deal.